Hello, everyone. This recording is for the Group 5 Cumulative Software Problem, Albert and Allison Gator using ProConnect. I'm assuming you've got everything set up to register for ProConnect. That's the online software. Specifically, it is the ProConnect Intuit tax software. You need the tax software in order to complete the cumulative problems. And the other thing you need to have is the availability of the ebook or the textbook. I assume most of you are using the ebook. I'm going to use the ebook, but if you have a physical book, a textbook, then you just have to flip through the pages to get to where you need to be. Let's go ahead and first get started on bringing up the actual problem. There are a number of ways to get to that problem. You can go to assignments and look for it there. I'm going to go first to modules. That seems to work best for me to know I'm in the right area. We'll go and scroll down to module 2, which is when we start working on the cumulative software problem, group 5 cumulative software problem, Albert and Allison Gator using ProConnect. We'll click on it and you'll see there are 8 chapters. That's it. Even though there are 9 chapters we're covering in the textbook, there's only 8 that are used for the cumulative software problem. We're going to go ahead and right mouse button on the chapter 1, right mouse button and open in a new tab because we're going to need to be referring to it consistently and regularly. So now that we have this open in a new tab for the browser tabs, let's see, can we zoom on it a little bit better? Yeah, I think so. We've got it here. Here's our instructions. We'll go back to the original Canvas browser or tab, and then now we'll go back to the modules. And the next thing we're going to want to make sure we have is the actual textbook or ebook. You'll see under module 1, week 1, we have the ebook ready or available there. Again, you're going to have to make sure that you've registered for See Now and access to the ebook. That was in week 1. We're already working on week 2 information. So we're already working on week 2. So we'll look to load the ebook. That's going to be in another tab. So there we go. Let's pull this so that we have this. We'll go ahead and click on chapter 1. Now what we're trying to do is actually get to the problem. We've got instructions on what needs to be done, but the actual problem is listed under questions and problems. Now there are a whole bunch of questions and problems, so we're going to scroll. In most cases, you'll scroll. Well, the easiest way to get to where you want to go to is go to the very end and then work yourself backwards because it is the cumulative problem. In almost all cases, I think it's at the very end. For sure in chapter 1, we'll have to see on the others when we get there. But that is the last problem, so you had to scroll to the very end and then scroll up to where it starts, Group 5 Cumulative Software Problem. And we have now the textbook. So we need the instructions, the textbook, and then we need to log into ProConnect. So we'll log into ProConnect and you'll see that initially you'll end up on a welcome page. We're going to click on tax returns and now confirm you're on tax returns for 2024. Shouldn't have any tax returns that have been entered before. So this should look exactly like, your screen should look like this screen. And then at this point in time, let's go ahead and revert to the instructions. This tab here is the actual textbook. This tab here is the instructions. It says sign into your ProConnect tax account, which we already did. Welcome screen we have done. Now it says select tax returns in the left margin. Let's go here. Oh, we did that as well. Okay, we're good to go. And then it says you will land on the tax returns 2024 page. Select create tax return in the upper right hand corner. Let's do that. Create tax return. We're going to add new. Make sure that this is essentially the individual. That's what's selected. Let's make sure it's telling us from the create tax return, click the plus for add new, and then select the 1040, which we've done. Fill out the information for the taxpayer. Email and phone numbers are not required, but you may enter assumed data if you wish. Enter the address. Let's see, and then, okay, let's go ahead and just get to that point. So we'll go to the textbook now to get the specific information. It's Albert Gator. But specifically, let's use the data table here because there's a lot of information that'd be necessary. So Albert T. Gator, let's go ahead and go here to Albert T, and then we'll put Gator. And then the date of birth, we'll go back to the textbook. The date of birth listed is 9/22/1975. 09/22/1975. The tax ID is, I'm going to go ahead and try copying this. Let's select it, copy, move to ProConnect. Let's see, I'll click and hold Control and then V, and that just copies it all down. So that worked. If you can't seem to figure that out, Jen, just type it in. The email, you can put any email you want here. I'll just use Albert at Yahoo. I'd already done it before, so I'll keep that. After we've entered the name, date of birth, and tax ID, you can enter any email. I used Albert Yahoo. We'll go ahead and select that. For the phone number, you can make something up. I had already made up this number, so I'll enter that. No worries about the others. The address, though, we do need to get from the textbook. 41 SE Lincoln Street. 4100 SE Lincoln Street. I don't think there's an apartment. The city is Stuart, Florida. City is Stuart. And then we'll type in F and just select Florida. And then the zip, let's look at the zip. The zip is 34997. 34997. Okay, so once we've got this information in, let's go ahead and let's scroll down, click on Next. Might get this pop-up window. You can ignore it, close that. Then let's just double check our information. Albert T. Gator, the date of birth, that's correct, 1966, last four digits, Albert at Yahoo. 41 SE Lincoln Street. That comma, I don't know why it's there, but I know I didn't enter it, so just go ahead and leave it there. Stuart, Florida, 34997. 799-111, that's okay. Individual return 2024 and the tax return name. So, all right, we are good to go. Let's see what the instructions say after this. So we've created, fill out the information for the taxpayer. Email and numbers are not required. Enter the address, we did. Click on next till we did that. On the next screen, client, you may review the information you input, which we just did. Make any corrections, we didn't see any corrections. We'll go ahead and click on next. You have now landed on the taxpayer's 1040 profile page. And now we're on the Gator Albert T profile page. Let's go back to the instructions. You may select for e-file. So we have the column general. Under general, you'll see eligible for e-file, yes, but textbook says unselect. I would say deselect, but either way, it's the same. We've done that. And now it says, from the tabs near the top, select input return and client information. Okay, we go back to the tax return, input return, and then we'll click on client information. All right, let's go back to the instructions. I think we're there. Let's see, we want the filing status will appear on the main window. Change the filing status to married filing jointly. We'll go ahead and here so that we see where we're at. Right now it's showing, the filing status is showing as single. We'll change that to married filing jointly. Go back to the instructions. That's where we left off. Check the live with spouse box. Let's go ahead and click on that so we keep track of where we're at. Here, live with spouse, we got it. Scroll down this page and enter the occupation for the taxpayer. The occupation, I had entered this before, it came as a boat captain. You can enter it as boat captain. We'll kick that in. And then that's where we should have been, that occupation. Now it says enter the spouse information for the taxpayer spouse, which includes the first name, social security, occupation, and birth date. And now we'll have to rely on the textbook now to get that information. So we'll go back. Let's see, it is Allison is his married wife. So we'll go ahead and look, we got Allison A. Gator. So we'll come back here. We go to spouse information. and type in Allison A. Gator comes up automatically. We'll tab over to the Social Security number. Allison's Social Security number is listed here. We'll click, I'll do the same thing I did before, right mouse button, and then Control V. Occupation, does that? I'm not sure if they explain this, but I want you to enter into the occupation for Allison. It probably is there, but unemployed. Once you've done that, then you're good to go. Her date of birth, we'll go to the textbook. The date of birth shows her date of birth is 7/1/1976. Okay. Okay, so I think we've got the spouse's information in. The address that we entered initially is here. Taxpayer contact information. That was the initial information we set up. We didn't enter anything for the spouse. That's okay for now. And let's keep scrolling down till it gets to miscellaneous information. We'll go back to our instructions. Find prepared by and select self-prepareds. Go ahead and highlight that. That's what we left leaving off here. Okay, so let's do that. And we're at miscellaneous information. Scroll down, prepared by, self-prepared. All right, let's go back to the instructions. From the menu on the left, select General Dependents, and on the right side of the screen, you will see Details Dependents. Scrolling down through the general information, enter the information you have for the taxpayer's dependents, which includes the name, the social security number, relationship. You may leave the earned income credit and child tax credits as one when applicable. The software will automatically determine the proper credit for the dependent. So I think we're good. So let me go back to general and dependents. And now we have to make a determination as to who are the dependents. Well, part of that is reading through the information that's provided. Let's see, dependents. What do we have? The Gators have an 18-year-old son whose name is Crocker, who's a full-time freshman at Jupiter State University. The Gators also have a 19-year-old daughter, Cayman, who's a full-time student at Tribal River College. The daughter, Cayman, is married to Sean Slacker, who is 20 years old and a part-time student. Sean and Cayman have a 1-year-old child, Wanda Slacker. Sean and Cayman and Wanda all live in an apartment up the street from Albert and Allison during the entire current year. When you read through this, you'll realize that Cayman and Sean are they're not going to qualify for dependents. That leaves us with Crocker Gator. That one we'll definitely want to enter. So let's take care of that. Dependents. The first one is Crocker. Crocker's last name is Gator. The date of birth, let's go ahead and copy that from the textbook. We'll go back to the date of birth listed here, 12/21/2006. We'll copy that and input it here. The social security number, we'll have to get that as well from the data table in the textbook. Sure. Oh, there it is. That little box was blocking. I'm going to right mouse button, copy, and then Control V to paste it. Select a relationship. It believes that, I believe that is the son. I have an 18-year-old son, so Crocker is the 18-year-old son. So we have the right relationship. Okay, so we've entered the dependent information, and I think we're good for dependent. And now, in the problem, they did provide us income that is listed. So let's go ahead and look at, let's go back to the top. You'll see that there's a W-2 that's issued from the employer. This is to Albert, so we need to enter that W-2 into the tax software. The instructions show us that if we go in from the menu at the left, select income, wages, salaries, tips, W-2. Let's do that. And we'll click here on income, wages, tips, and salaries. So we've got that. And now from here, we can actually just go to the W-2 to enter information. So what do we need first? I think we need the taxpayer ID number. Can we zoom in on that? Let's see if I can make this a little bit larger. Okay, so the taxpayer ID number looks like it's 603456788. So the EIN, we need to enter that 603456788. Is that what it was? Yeah, 6788. 6788. Okay. We got it. The state, let's see if there's state information. It's Florida, but there's no state information, likely because there isn't an income tax for Florida. So we'll leave that blank. Let's go to our instructions. Actually, let's go to the instructions. Yeah, let's look. And now what we need to enter is the income information from the W-2. So we've entered that. We've entered this. Let's look at the name of the employer. We'll go back to the actual W-2, Sport Fishing of Stewart. Let's go back to the Mine tab, the address 4247 SE Anchor Avenue. Now, I had already previously entered it, so it came up automatically. You're going to have to enter this manually, particularly the very first time that you're entering this W-2. So here, everything kind of came up as a default, but you'll have to enter that information. Let's go back to what else we need. I think we've got all the basic information. Now we're going to enter the W-2 information. And the good news is that all we have to do is enter the same information from boxes listed on the W-2. So box 1 shows 770612. Box 1 will enter 770612. Now, it'll default to rounding off to the nearest whole number. So you can do that. I think you should do that yourself. And I don't think it'll do it automatically. So 770612, just round it off. The next thing is box 2 gives the 5502.33. That rounds to 5502. 5502.33. Let's see if we click away. Yeah, it actually does round off. So you can enter it all the way and then it'll round off. Social Security wages will actually carry over automatically. Social Security tax withheld will carry over automatically. Now you can double check to make sure that that makes sense. Social Security wages, and then the withholding 4383.78 should match 4384, 4384 rounded. That makes sense. And then ultimately the Medicare wages is 7706, and that's what's listed here. And the Medicare withholding is 1025.24. That's 1025. So everything just kind of automatically filtered in, those that can be calculated, like Social Security withholdings and the Medicare. But it's always a good idea to double check the numbers to make sure you haven't missed anything. Let's see. We're looking for information on box 12. Do we have anything on box 12? Looks like box 12 has no information, so we can leave that. Let's go down to box 13, see if there's any information on box 13. Box 13 doesn't look like there's any information there. Box 14, let's look and see if there's any information on box 14. And 12, 13, 14, other, that doesn't appear to be anything there. So we can leave all that blank. Scrolling down to the state or local. The state or local shows nothing in there, so we can ignore that. And I think we've got it. I think we're good. I think we have all the information entered that we need to. The next thing we want to do is enter the interest income. Let's look on the problem itself and see what interest income. There is a 1099 INT that they provided, which shows interest income. Let's go to the tax software. We'll see that now we're done with wages, but we'll go ahead and enter interest income. It's all blank at this point in time. The name of the bank is Jensen Beach Bank. Let's see, I think I already entered it, so that's going to automatically come up for you, but you're probably going to have to go ahead and enter it. Looks like the interest income for box number 1 was 312.69. So that's 312.69, which would be 313. All right. I think it's that easy. It takes care of the W-2 and the interest income. All right, so let's go back to our tax return. And at this point in time, I think we're in a position to review our return. So let's go ahead and review. You'll probably get this box. You can view who's in the return. Let's not worry about that for now. We'll X that out. This is just, there'll be quite a bit of information here. What we want to do is go to the box where it says 1040. And now what you're going to want to do is compare what is entered here to what is listed on the solutions. To get to the solutions for each chapter, you'll go ahead and go into Canvas, you'll go to Modules, and again, we're in Module 2, Week 2. You'll see that in the cumulative software problem area, this is where you actually pulled up the problem, but just below it, you'll see the solution. You'll click on it. There's a downloadable PDF, and this is what you're going to use to confirm the numbers that you've entered into the tax software are correct. And that's what we had downloaded earlier, right? So Albert T. Gator, 26651-1966, Allison A. Gator, 26634-1967, looks good. 4100 SE Lincoln Street, that's what we have here. Stuart, Florida, 34997, Stuart, Florida, 34997. Married, filing jointly is what we have here. Filing status is married, filing jointly. We are good. The next entry here is the dependent, Crocker Gator, 261551212. That's the son. It does automatically list as credit for other dependents, and that's what's listed there. Let's check our numbers for for line 1A, 70,706. That looks good. That for line 1Z, 77006, then 313 is listed there. So far, so good. Total under line 9 is 71019. That looks good. And then the standard deduction is what's used. We didn't enter anything as terms of itemized. So far, here's what we have. The taxable income on line 15 is at 41,819. That matches. Let's scroll down to the next page. And we'll make sure that everything matches there. 4555, that matches on line 16. Line 18 matches. 19 matches. 21 matches. 22 matches. And 24 matches. 25A is the withholding. That was what we entered into the W-2. That matches as well. And so what we have here is the total payments. They match on line 33. And ultimately 34 shows 1447, which matches what's here. And they didn't provide any direct deposit information, so that's all blank. That's good. And this was a default. I won't worry about here. The solutions doesn't have a check, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. We do have the boat captain listed as the occupation for the taxpayer, and then the spouse is unemployed, which is how we listed it. Our return is showing as self-prepared. The solutions don't, but I wouldn't worry about that. And you're complete with chapter 1 and ready to move on to chapter 2. Again, you don't have to submit anything until the end of the semester, but at least you know you're good to go. Okay, thank you. I hope this was helpful.